Hi, everybody. This is Tracy Malone with another narcissist topic of the day. Today, I would like to talk about a situation that, let's just say, you have a narcissistic mom. Could be a dad. I'm just saying mom for now, right? And you're also married, and maybe you even have a child. Now, what happens in situations like this, if you want to continue to see and have the narcissist in your life, and maybe it's because you have a child, so their grandchild, you might want to keep them in your life. But when your spouse sees how your narcissistic mother treats you, they're going to want to be protective. They're going to want to take care of you. They're going to go, every single time we see your mother, you're down on the couch for 3 or 4 days or a week. And so they're going to be very protective of you and trying to almost isolate you for your own protection because they're watching how you come back after you've seen them. They see how hurtful and painful it is for you to deal with this narcissistic mom. And so they're going to try to do that, right? So when they're protecting you and they're trying to make sure that mom doesn't do the horrible things that they've done, it could be sort of off-putting to you because you really still want your mom in your life, and yet can't do it because spouse thinks she's too dangerous in this case. So some of the things that you can do is set really good boundaries. Two different types of boundaries you could set here. One with your spouse. If they can't handle, say, going to dinner at mom's with you, then we set a boundary and go, you know what? You'll stay home. I'll take our daughter and we'll have our hour-long weekly meeting, and my daughter will get to see her grandmother. Now, I know that your spouse's fear is that exposing your granddaughter to the same type of negative talking things that you had when you were a child. If your mother made you feel like you were never good enough, your spouse is going to be worried that this is going to get onto your child, that this is going to be a message that they might get. So sometimes the boundaries might be, we're just not giving mom the kids by herself, but we'll always be there. Or I'll always be there because my spouse doesn't want to come. And then this also generally means that you have to kind of set boundaries with your spouse and maybe not burden them with all of the things that they do, because when you're using your spouse, and this is what you're supposed to do, is to be there as a support system, but when you're dealing with this and they are just trying to protect you, protect you, protect you, but you keep going back, it's confusing to them. So, deciding if they want to stay home, or maybe they do want to come, but then we might need some boundaries in the house with the narcissistic mother in this situation, right? So setting boundaries with the narc could be whatever it is that they do, yell at you, call you names, belittle you. It's also controlling. How do we run our life? How do we, feed our baby? A lot of parents, narcissistic mothers, are like, don't feed your child that, it's perfectly fine. So whatever it is that the narcissistic parents doing that triggers you and makes you upset, we can set boundaries with the narcissist. Now, let's be honest, narcissists don't like boundaries, and they 99% don't listen to them, but you're trying. And just so you know, a boundary comes with consequences. If you don't stop telling us how to blank, then we're not going to come back. And then you have to not come back. You can't set a boundary and say, if you don't stop doing this, I'm not going to come back. And then you start to come back. They're going to know it means nothing, right? The other part of this is to really get someone like a coach, a therapist, or someone to work on this with you to help you navigate really your own emotions, because you're between two worlds. You're between mom and you're between your spouse, and your spouse wants to protect you. How could you think that's bad, right? But your mom, you want her in your life, so you're in between. And so talking to a coach or therapist, I prefer one that does know about narcissistic abuse and can help you with this, not just listen to you, but give you actionable, this is what we want to do. Okay, she upset you this way. This is how we are going to help you navigate those waters and deal with mom in this case versus here's how I've got to help and support my spouse who is just trying to protect me because they love me and they love my child. So navigating this is not going to be easy. Every case is different. Sometimes it's changing the way you speak with them. Sometimes it's just putting the boundaries. You know what? We're only going to see you once a month. We're only going to see you blank. Whatever it is, you come up with the stuff, you figure it out. And if you could work with your spouse, then they're part of this whole negotiation. But oftentimes they might need to sit this out. And then you can't come home and burden them with what has just happened because you, in their eyes, wanted it. You wanted to go see your mother, and look what happens. I told you you'd be upset for a week. These things happen. So anyway, this is Tracy Malone. I hope this helped. It's just a little kibble, but there's a lot of people out there that have a narcissistic parent and their spouse is very upset. They would really prefer that you didn't stay with them. And this is where you have to ride the line of deciding, what's more important. Sometimes it's your spouse, and sometimes it's a balance. Like there's nothing wrong with being a balanced situation, but you guys got to figure this out. This is Tracy Malone. I hope this helped. If you haven't liked my channel, subscribed, or if you're watching this on pod or listening to this on a podcast, thank you so much. And I'm glad that you have subscribed, and I hope to hear from you again, and I will see you soon.